So your inner breakthrough comes from different kind of processes. And it comes not from your comfort zone. It comes from stepping out of comfort zone day by day with small steps. Hello, here's Denise Kayadelen, business psychologist, 6 times world champion in ice swimming and world Guinness record holder. I'm so excited to have my first podcast, and this podcast is for everyone who wants to unlock their own potential, wants to realize their dreams, and wants to stop what's holding them back. In business, in private life, in sports, wherever you are now in your life, in which kind of position you are, you deserve the best. You deserve to be free of your limiting beliefs, of your fears, to unlock your full potential. And you know what? Unlocking the full potential doesn't come from being comfortable, sitting in a comfy place and doing every day the same things what you do and being in your routine. Magic comes from stepping out of comfort zone. And in this podcast, my aim is to share with you insights from my elite business experiences, how I reached my peak performance in sports, from my business psychology background, how we as a human being operating and what is our operating model, what are our blockages in our brain, in our system, and how we can unlock that to reach our peak. And third component, I'm working more than 15 years in business as a business consultant, managing consultant. I worked in the area of change management, managed more than 30 transformation projects worldwide. I managed more than 20 big scale qualification programs for leaders. And I did a lot of talent management, which means talent assessments, executive assessments, checking what are their competencies, what are their strengths and development areas, and who is the best fit for the high stake position. So based on all my experiences in business, in extreme sports, in psychology, I want to bring everything together and provide you the best insights to serve you, because I believe we as a human being, we are much more than we think. And most of the time, we are limiting ourselves because of our limiting beliefs, because of our fears. But imagine how your life would be if you could explore your hidden potential day by day and reach your peak, whatever your peak is. And in this podcast, I will have some solo podcast, but also I will have some guest speakers in my podcast, because I believe in inspiring each other, empowering each other, and having different kind of stories. It's not just about my story, which I hope will inspire you, but it's also about sharing different stories, having people who also stepped out of comfort zone, who also transformed their biggest fear into the biggest success. And in this podcast, my aim is also to encourage you, to inspire you, and to support you to go the next level, to upgrade yourself. How often we are upgrading our mobile phones, our laptops, everything, even buying some new stuff because it's getting old. But how often do you take your time to upgrade yourself, to really reflect what is important to you, what is matter for you, and what gives you energy, what drains energy? Are you really charging your batteries? Of course, you are charging your phone batteries, but how often do you take care of your own batteries, of your own energy level? And we will speak about all these different elements of well-being, of reaching your peak performance, of transforming yourself and transforming your environment. Also in my business time, how often we speak about transformation, How often we speak about peak performance, how often we speak about resilience, but what does that really mean? The real transformation starts within you. The real resilience starts within you. And the real peak starts within you. And what is your own peak? It depends. It's changing for everyone. Everyone has their own peak. Everyone has a different purpose and a different life goal depending on different stages. If I would ask you now, what is your biggest goal for 2025? Maybe some thoughts are coming up in your business, in your career. And if you check the wheels of life, right? There are different areas, of course. It's not just about business, career, money. It's about your health. It's about your well-being. It's about your spiritual growth. It's about your relationships, your social network. And when you reflect in all these areas, where you say, this is enough, I'm good with that, and in which areas do you feel the most gap, and do you feel that you want your own upgrade? And in this podcast, I will speak about different tools, different elements, which are important for all of us, and how we can hijack our brain, how we can upgrade our brain, our body to reach our peak performance. How we can use all the tools, all the elements which we have inside in our system. How often you checking outside of the world for support, for tools, for everything. Yes, we need outside support. I have a spiritual coach. I have a physical coach. I have an even psychologist to reach my peak performance. It's not easy. If you want to upgrade yourself, you need all the external support. But more than important than external support is that you work also on yourself, that you feel your inner power, your inner source. And can you imagine a world where you can support yourself and are aware of your own power sources? And it looks simple. The formula looks simple, but you need tools. You need some inspiration and some empowerment, which I aim to do this in this podcast. How to activate your inner soul, how to feel your inner soul power, how do you transform your limiting beliefs, how to transform your fears to your biggest strength, and how to use your fears as your compass. Would you believe to me if I would say your fear is your best friend? It's not your enemy. You can use your fear as your best friend if you use it as your compass. Imagine a world where you feel fearless. Of course, this world doesn't exist, but imagine that your courage, that your self-confidence, that your faith is much higher than your fears. And you still go for your dreams, despite fear, despite your limiting beliefs. Because you know on which tools you need to work and how you can increase your faith, how you can increase your self-confidence, and how you can increase your courage. And it's about all these elements. You can't just go to one doctor, to one psychiatrist, to one psychologist, to one coach to change your life. You can't just go one time to a gym to have muscles. And it's the same with your brain. It's the same with your own transformation. You can't just read one book or go to one training to feel empowered and to be in your breakthrough moment. So your inner breakthrough comes from different kind of processes. And it comes not from your comfort zone. It comes from stepping out of comfort zone day by day with small steps. And in this podcast, we will speak about what does really mean, how to stepping out of comfort zone. What does really mean to transform your biggest fear into your biggest strength? What does really mean to feel your inner soul power? With proven sign, with proven methodologies, and with real life stories. Because I believe practice what you preach is one and most important aspect for my life. I'm speaking about out of comfort zone. And yes, I am still already out of my comfort zone every day, day by day. I push myself out of comfort to grow, to be wiser, and to explore myself from a completely different level. And I always believed in myself and believe in this approach that I need to practice what I preach. I don't want to share here in this podcast some superficial theories, some superficial elements from books. Here, this is a real core shit. This is a real life conversation based on vulnerabilities, based on pain, based on real life experiences, based on proven insights. I'm more than happy to share it with you, and I will search for interesting people, leaders, CEOs, where they will also share the stories with you. Are you ready to take this journey with me? So subscribe to my podcast, to my YouTube channel, and let's inspire each other, empower each other, step out of comfort zone, and unlock our potential together.